Welcome to the travel guide of Bangkok, Thailand, one of the most visited cities in the world. It is the only cosmopolitan city in a country of small towns and villages and is Thailand's cultural and commercial center. Bangkok is located on the delta of the Chao Phraya River, about 25 miles, 40 kilometers, from the Gulf of Thailand. It was formerly divided into two municipalities, Krung Thep on the east bank and Thon Buri on the west, connected by several bridges. The climate of Bangkok is hot throughout the year, ranging from 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius, in the cold season in December to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, at the height of the hot season in April. Modern Bangkok has undergone explosive growth, which the authorities have attempted to direct by means of a series of master plans since the 1960s. The city center, formerly enclosed by a wall, has long been densely developed. Later expansion has sprawled outward well beyond the administrative boundaries into the surrounding agricultural areas. The governmental and commercial districts of the city occupy traditional sites. Government offices were originally housed in the walled compound of the 18th century Grand Palace, but by the late 19th century they occupied surrounding palaces and mansions. Bangkok International Airport is one of the busiest in Southeast Asia and among largest transportation hubs in the world. Suvarnabhumi Airport, also known unofficially as Bangkok Airport, is one of two international airports serving the Bangkok metropolitan region, the other one being Don Mueang International Airport, which remains open as a low-cost carriers hub. In the floating market, a variety of foods and merchandise are sold daily from boats on the canals near Wat Sra. Formerly, several such markets and innumerable door-to-door floating vendors served the daily needs of the city's residents. Rama I modeled the new city on the former capital, Ayutthaya, 40 miles to the north. By the end of his reign, the city was established. The walled Grand Palace complex and the temple Wat Pho were completed. Practically Thailand's national emblem, the tuk-tuk is at the heart of the authentic Thai experience for most first-time visitors. Jumping in one of these open-air three-wheeled vehicles is a fun activity in itself, as well as a valuable and affordable mode of transport for locals and residents alike. Many people may assume that tuk-tuks in Bangkok are only for tourists, as you usually find gangs of tuk-tuks parked in front of the entrances to tourist-geared attractions like Khao San Road and the Grand Palace. They are indeed famous among tourists, especially first visitors that want to have a unique experience getting around the city. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya became the second Siamese capital after Sukhothai. It was destroyed by the Burmese in the 18th century. Its remains, characterized by the prang, reliquary towers, and gigantic monasteries, give an idea of its past splendor. It flourished from the 14th to the 18th centuries, during which time it grew to be one of the world's largest and most cosmopolitan urban areas and a center of global diplomacy and commerce. Ayutthaya was strategically located on an island surrounded by three rivers connecting the city to the sea. This site was chosen because it was located above the tidal bore of the Gulf of Siam as it existed at that time, thus preventing attack of the city by the seagoing warships of other nations. The location also helped to protect the city from seasonal flooding. Wat Yai Che Mangkal is an old temple that was built in the late 14th century, and it is still currently active with monks living within the temple ground. The temple complex consisted of the massive main prang that dominated the entire area with its beautiful Ayutthaya-style architecture. Surrounding the main prang, you will find several old structures like a reclining Buddha image, ordination hall, and several Buddha images surrounding it, which makes up Wat Yai Che Mangkal. There are quite a lot of smaller structures to see here, so be sure to spend some time walking around the temple complex before moving on. Wat Chai Wat Hanaram is hands down favorite tourist attractions in Ayutthaya. Wat Chai Wat Hanaram is a Khmer-style temple built in the 17th century and was used by the king and other members of the royal families back in the days. The remnant of what you will see at Wat Chai Wat Hanaram will remind you of the Angkor Wat in Siem Reap, Cambodia, but on a smaller scale. This temple complex consists of several structures including the Khmer-style main prang surrounded by several smaller chetas. The best time to visit Wat Chai Wahanaram is in the evening where the sun will shine bright at temple's entrance due to its location facing west. For the best photos of this place, visiting around 4 to 5 p.m. will give you the best light as well as a higher chance of seeing fewer people right before the closing time. The entrance fee for Wat Chai Wahanaram is 100 Thai baht, which is more expensive than the other temples, but it is well worth it. The temple is well maintained and covers a larger area than all the other temples in Ayutthaya. After a day of exploring the outer rim of the Ayutthaya island, there is no better place to watch the sunset than at the Gateway of Time in Wat Phra Sri located north of the island. You will also be happy to know that one of the most photographed places in Ayutthaya, which you may probably have seen on the internet at some point, is also located here at the entrance of Wat Mahadat. The famous Buddha head entwined in the roots of a banyan tree is one of the most popular photograph spots in Ayutthaya. Whenever you think of Thailand, the image of a stone Buddha head often comes to mind. Be aware though that it might be smaller in real life than it looks in photos, and you might have to wait in line a little to get your photo with the iconic Buddha image. Ayutthaya is impressive. The temples, the statues and overall ambience of the place is great. However, as in any other flooded by tourist destinations, it has lost its unique charm. Of course, if it's your first trip in the area, Ayutthaya will definitely impress you. You'll probably remember it as the best destinations you've ever seen. But for those who have ventured further, for example to the places such as Angkor Wat in Cambodia or Bagan in Myanmar, Ayutthaya may seem like a small town compared to those huge ancient metropolises. The size of the two above-mentioned sites is so large that you cannot even walk around to see all the temples and attractions. This way, the masses of tourists are spread over a great area, so you do feel the authenticity and grandeur of the place. Ayutthaya is still one of the most beautiful and worth-visited historical sites near Bangkok. Chatuchak Weekend Market has always been a great place to visit in Bangkok among locals and tourists. The market is packed with 8,000 stalls categorized into 30 sections. Because of this, it is recognized as the largest market in Thailand. Also called as Chatuchak Market, this spot has everything you need, from clothing to plants to food and more. Surely, it is a great destination for shopaholics who are on a budget. Because of the large market size, it's not easy to move from one stall to another. So, if you love an item, make a decision on the spot, either to buy it or not. Avoid going back and forth to stalls because this will waste your time. Since you will be shopping in a local market, most vendors only accept cash. There are only very few stalls that allow credit card payment. So, ready yourself with some cash beforehand, though you can also withdraw from one of the ATMs in the market. Unfortunately, the conversion rate is lower from the cash machines, hence not really advisable. There are plenty of things you can buy at Chatuchak Weekend Market, including fashion essentials to kids' stuff and souvenirs. At night, Yaowarat Road, the high street of Bangkok's Chinatown, transforms into one of the largest street food spots in the world. Locals and travelers can be seen along the main thoroughfare, sampling their way through all that there is to offer, turning dinner into an evening of exploration. It can be confusing at first, but, with a sense of adventure, it can be a lot of fun. The China Gate at the western entrance to the Chinatown Bangkok is an ornate ceremonial gate. Built in 1999, the huge gate is actually called the King's Birthday Celebration Arch, signifying the loyalty of the Chinese community to King Bhumibol of Thailand. It was inaugurated in time to celebrate the king's 60th year on the throne. The China Gate in Bangkok sits in the middle of a large traffic island from which Yaowarat Road, the main body of Chinatown, runs parallel with the river. Tourists flock into Wat Traimit to see the largest gold Buddha in the world. The revered statue, seated on an altar and surrounded by traditional Thai golden arches, is breathtaking and is a regular pilgrimage for Buddhists and inquisitive tourists. The Buddhist temple is a great stop on your way to or from the Hua Lamphong MRT station. The view from the top of Wat Traimit offers a sight of the ornate Chinatown gate nearby and receives a refreshing breeze, which blows through the open doors of the temple, meaning you can enjoy marveling at the dimensions of the Buddha statue without perspiring from the heat. Sampang Lane is a long, narrow street intersecting Chinatown, where you'll find a jumble of goods for sale. Sampang Lane was the original high street of Chinatown when the Chinese community first moved to Bangkok. Much like the rest of the area, it's cluttered, chaotic, and a lot of fun. The dimensions of this street are so limited, in certain parts, that you could stretch out across the alley and grab a pair of flip-flops in one hand and a Christmas tree in the other. Enjoy the company of an elephant in Pattaya at the Elephant Jungle Sanctuary, which promotes the sustainable and ethical way of treating elephants, and Little Elephant Village in Pattaya is an example of that. Trained English-speaking guides give visitors insight into the behavior and the personal history of elephants, while mahouts help people realize incredible life experiences such as bathing elephants or feeding them by hand. A herd of rescued elephants now living together as a family, observe them enjoying their newfound freedom with wonder and joy, trumpeting to each other while playing and exploring their jungle habitat. Pattaya Beach is about 3 kilometers long beach. There is a shady road along the beach. The North Beach is quite a quiet place that tourists like to go swimming and chilling. It is a center of marine activities for those who come to rest, such as sunbathing and water sports. The whole 3 kilometers along the beach is full of hotels, restaurants and souvenir shops. However, if you like a quiet atmosphere, the northern part of this beach is the best option. Coral Island, or Koh Larn, is a gorgeous island situated at a distance of around 7 km off the coast of Pattaya Beach. With the Bay of Bangkok present on the northeastern end and Gulf of Siam on the western side, Koh Larn is synonymous to paradise on earth and is a must-visit place during your trip to Pattaya. Comprising of mountainous terrain with a blanket of lush green vegetation on the ground and colonies of corals in the waters, there are a total of 6 beaches present across the Coral Island. From parachuting to underwater sea walking to jet skiing, you may get yourselves involved in different types of activities. Apart from this, the wide range of delicious seafood dishes served at the restaurants and other eateries of Koh Larn is worth trying as well. The Sanctuary of Truth is the largest wood building in Thailand that use only wood to build it as the ancient Thai carpenter style. Inside this sanctuary there are wood statue and wood carving piece that tell the philosophy of life. The art style used in Sanctuary is the benevolent one that has to be called one of the masterpiece in this era. The Sanctuary of Truth is one of the tourist attraction that got a Thailand Best Travel Industrial Reward in 2008. A great way to experience Thai farmers' way of life through local markets. Visit the unique Maeklong Railway Market where sellers rush to fold the roof over their stalls and pack up their goods every time a train passes through. A private tour from Bangkok to the Daman Sajuak Floating Market, a great place to try some local fruits, snacks, the famous boat noodles, and the delicious mango with sticky rice. For most attractions around Bangkok, you need to pay. But if you're sightseeing by yourself around the city, you should absolutely include these 2 attractions in your itinerary. Only the transport there and back would cost you, but not seeing these yourself. Of course, if you'd like to ride a boat in the Daman Sajuak Floating Market, you'd need to pay about 5-7 for a paddle boat, 30 to 40 minute journey around the market. However, to be honest, this is such a tiny fee for the amazing experience you'd be getting, it's negligible. And, if you'd like to ride the train and ride through the Maeklong Train Market, you'd also need a few more euros for a train ticket. The Burma Railway, also known as the Death Railway, The Siam-Burma Railway, the Thai-Burma Railway and similar names, is a 415 km railway between Ban Pong, Thailand, and Thambiuzayat, Burma, now called Myanmar. It was built from 1940 to 1943 by civilian laborers impressed or recruited by the Japanese and prisoners of war taken by the Japanese to supply troops and weapons in the Burma campaign of World War II. It completed the rail link between Bangkok, Thailand, and Rangoon, Burma. The name used by the Japanese government is Taimen Rensetsu Tetsudo, which means Thailand-Burma Link Railway. The Death Railway is, in short, a horrendous part of Thailand's history that was created by the blood and sweat of World War II prisoners of war and Asian slave laborers. During World War II, the Imperial Japanese Army had taken over Southeast Asia and accumulated tens of thousands of skilled and healthy prisoners of war, which were later used as laborers to support their war effort. The bridge on the River Kiwai is a popular tourist destination complete with food and souvenir stalls, but is a beautiful landmark nonetheless. The iron bridge has been modified to include a walkway and several side platforms. Use these as viewpoints to overlook several restaurants on the river's edge and a nearby temple. The bridge also has a small train catering to tourists that slowly ran back and forth along the tracks. There are many ways from getting from Bangkok to the various attractions of the Death Railway in Kanchanaburi. This includes by car, bus, or boat. There are even third-class train rides along a restored section of the line from Nong Pladuk to the Nam Tak for 100 baht. Keep in mind that this is a full-day event ranging from 8 to 12 hours to make the trip from Bangkok. Located in West Thailand in the Tanasaram Hills range of Kanchanaburi Province, Erawan National Park is home to one of the most popular falls in the country. Founded in 1975 as Thailand's 12th national park, it covers an area of 550 square kilometers. The major attraction of the park is the seven-tiered Erawan Falls with emerald green ponds. There are also several impressive and long caves within the park, some of them deeper inside the park, few of them along the roads around the park. The park and the falls are named after the three-headed white elephant of Hindu mythology. The top tier of the falls is said to resemble an elephant head. Located in the central area of Bangkok, Royal Grand Palace is the best preserved, large-scale national palace in Thailand. It is a large-scale ancient building complex in the center of Bangkok, with 28 buildings. The essence of painting, sculpture and decoration art is gathered. From Rama I to 8, the Bangkok dynasty lived in the Grand Palace. Now the place is only used for coronation ceremony, court celebration and other ceremonies. The whole Grand Palace scenic area includes the Royal Palace, Emerald Buddha Temple, Royal Palace and other scenic spots. You can visit them all when you visit. Royal Grand Palace is also one of the most popular scenic spots. The Grand Palace Bangkok is a 218,400 square kilometers man-made island with a complex of numerous buildings, halls, pavilions, temples set around open lawns, gardens and courtyards. Located in the heart of Bangkok, situated on the banks of Bangkok's major river, the Chao Phraya. Construction of the palace began on May 6, 1782, at the order from the founder of the Chakri dynasty, King Rama I. He moved the capital city from Thonburi, near Bangkok, to Bangkok. Divided into several quarters, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, the Outer Court, Middle Court, Inner Court and the Gardens Quarter. The Grand Palace is currently primarily open to the public as a museum, with several functioning and working royal offices still situated inside. You need to be aware of the strict dress code. You're expected to dress respectfully when visiting any temple in Bangkok, but you can be sure the strict dress code at the Grand Palace and Royal Temple will always be enforced. Importantly, scarves are not allowed to cover up your shoulders if you are wearing a sleeveless top. There's no way they want that scarf to slip down and expose your shoulders, and you will be asked to change your top. You may also be asked to cover your ankles. The Grand Palace and Royal Temple dress codes are very strict because the grounds are still used by the royal family on ceremonial occasions. The dress codes at other royal temples are typically similar to the Grand Palace. Although many temples in tourist areas have relaxed standards, you should always be respectful and follow the rules of thumb. Women should bring a light scarf to wrap around your shoulders to ensure you're covered when entering a temple at short notice. Safari World, Thailand's most extensive open zoo, is divided into two parts, Safari Park and Marine Park. While the Safari Park features animals from all around the world, the Marine Park is famous for its animals of the sea. While booking your Safari World Bangkok tickets, you can choose to visit either one or both of these parks. At Safari World Bangkok, there is much to explore. With over 100 animals spread across the vast area, Safari World Bangkok is an open zoo like no other. Apart from 8 animal shows with exotic animals like sea lions and orangutans, you can also take part in several unique experiences like jungle safaris and jungle cruise. At the Marine Park, you will meet animals from sea, land, and air. It also has interesting exhibitions like Egg Island, where you will get to see the eggs of different birds. Chao Phraya River is an iconic landmark in Bangkok, a quaint oriental version of Italy's Venetian waterway. Connecting many of the city's best attractions, the river is traversed by freight ships, ferries, and especially cruise ships. The latter offers visitors various opportunities to get a glimpse of Bangkok's unique culture and heritage as they coast along the river. Dinner cruises are a widely popular activity, featuring a unique blend of sightseeing, entertainment, and gourmet experience on every sail. Indulge in a wide selection of international and seafood specialties while being entertained by live music and cultural performances aboard the cruises. These ships consist of air-conditioned interiors and an open top deck where you can enjoy the breeze and the night views of Bangkok unobstructed. Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share our videos.